I like to roast the bones. I think it gives them a more profound, meaty flavor. So what I did for this was I threw my bones in the oven on a sheet pan, 375, 400 degrees, whatever. Maybe 25, 30 minutes to get a good roast on them. And here's what they're gonna look like. Looks like they're getting a little color there. So let's go ahead and pull these out. There we go. At this point, I feel like they could use a little bit more color. You can see a lot of fats rendered out of the bone. So what we're gonna do is throw them back in for another 20, 30 minutes. All right, so we've had about an hour in the oven. I showed you what they look like about a half an hour. This is probably what I'm gonna look for here. Yep. Much better color on these bones. We're gonna bring them right over here. Put them down. You can see we have some caramelization starting here and here, and these are pretty hot, but you'll see underneath here. Some good color here. Probably some really good color under there. This is all going to add a lot of robust flavors and very, very beefy flavors to the stock. Or you can buy the canned shit. Alright, so now we got the bones off the sheet pan. Nice caramelization, nice color on them. What we're going to do is cover them with cold water. Very important, always use cold water with any stock. And we're just going to cover them up here with water. Don't worry about all that stuff floating on the top. We're going to skim all that off as we cook it. And we're just going to bring this to a simmer. And I'll show you the other ingredients we're going to add here in a little bit. And here's what it looks like overnight. This is the next morning. We're going to strain this out and refrigerate or cool down, or I'll show you what we're going to do with it. So all I've done here is I've strained it, put it into another little vessel like this. Alright, you can see we have a beautiful flank steak here. Some people use skirt steak, some people use pot roast, chuck roast. This is going to have those really long muscle fibers to really show the true Ropa Vieja. So what we're going to do is try to even these up a little. 1, 2. So that way all the muscle fibers will kind of somewhat be all the same size. And what we're going to do is put that right into the hot stock. Just like that. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, put a lid on it, and come see what this looks like in about 2 hours. Now let's check on this. It's been about an hour. Definitely not ready yet, but starting to smell pretty darn amazing in this house. Come back and check this out in about an hour. Alright, here's what we're looking for. See that? See how tender that is? We're going to go ahead and pull this out. See that? It's so tender, just falling apart. Alright, so the next step we have here is our flank steak is completely shredded and nice and tender. We've got it in our little mise en place hotel pan here, and then over this way the braising liquid that we cooked it in, we set on high heat. We're going to reduce this down, I'd say about 2/3, maybe a little less, and you'll see why later. There's a lot of flavor in that liquid, and we're going to utilize all of it. Okay, you can see I've reduced this stock down very, very low. There's a lot of intense flavors built up in that, and that's what we're going to use to rehydrate our shredded meat to create the Ropa Vieja. Okay, we're going to put together our sofrito, or our sofrito, which is the base for all these little Caribbean, Cuban style dishes. There's a couple different ways to do it. This is one, it's just making a simple base. So we're putting onion, garlic, tomato paste, cumin seed. I like a lot of cumin. Cumin seed, dried Mexican style oregano, and a nice amount of bay. This is ground bay leaf. It's going to add a nice little touch. Some nice olive oil. I think this is Trader Joe brand. It'll work for now. Just a little bit of olive oil. Finally, just a little dash of sherry vinegar. You can use any vinegar you want. I think vinegar brightens stuff up. I'm going to put this in our beautiful little tool, the Magic Bullet. Blend that up, and I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's ready here. Boy, that smells really good. So here's our little sofrito base. And you just kind of save that. And you can use this. You can put this in the refrigerator for like almost a week and use it in all your dishes that you're creating on the stovetop. So it's a cool little ingredient to have in the fridge for a backup plan. Okay, so you can see I've added back my shredded meat to that reduced stock we made. I actually refrigerated this meat because I did it in 2 steps and I didn't have time to make the whole dish in one night. And I know there's people out there laughing at me that do this in one pot, but it's just me and my wife here, so there's no reason to make a giant portion. We're just going to do single portions out of this, so I only used about half the meat I cooked. So kind of rehydrate that meat in the stock, and I'll show you how we're going to use that.